Hey guys, June here, and this video is going to be the first in a new series that I want to do keeping track of my progress on my newest goal, which is to obtain all of the unique titles from the Boss Drop collections that were added on the 4th of September. For those of you that don't pay attention to updates, RuneScape now keeps track of any unique boss loot that you've gotten, and there's a unique title to be obtained from each boss after having received each of their unique drops at least once. I haven't made too much in the way of progress on this goal just yet, so in this first video I just want to run through the things that I have completed so far and what I'm working on now, and in the future I'll keep track of all of the progress I've made, and you may even see me live streaming some of this on Twitch on the weekends. Like many players, I automatically unlocked the Fight Kiln collections on login by already having the pet as well as the enhanced Fire Cape unlocked. Obviously this took me 0 kills, so my start and end kill count was 1,974 Jads and 278 kilns. The first collection I actually had to work for was the Giant Mole, which I selected because it was by far the easiest. Having already unlocked the Giant Mole pet, there were only 2 items to get here, and all kills I did were in hard mode, and both of those items only took about 150 kill count. It's worth noting there's 2 unique items that aren't contained within the log, which are Numbing Roots and Ultra Growth Potions, for which I received 40 and 9 respectively in those 150 kill count. Having just finished the Giant Mole collection, I noticed that getting the Dragon Two-Hander drop from her also ticked it off in the other bosses' collection logs that dropped the Dragon Two-Hander, and so I saw that I only needed a Dragon Chain Body to finish off the Kalphite Queen. I already had the pet as well as the stack of Kalphite Queen trophy heads from my insane final boss hunting, and so it only took me about 70 kill count to get that Dragon Chain Body and finish the Kalphite Queen. Next I decided to do the King Black Dragon, which was the first title that required any actual work. The ornament kits and Dragon Rider pieces are actually quite rare here. Based on what I've seen and some of my friends who are also going for these titles, they seem like about 1 in 1,000 each, and I got a bit unlucky by getting 2 pairs of gloves before boots, however not too many repeats, and overall it only took me a little bit over 2,000 kill count. Oddly enough, this is also one of the rarest titles currently, probably owing to a mix of the fact that these items are abnormally rare for the difficulty of the boss, and most high-level players don't camp the King Black Dragon. The next title I worked on, and the last one that I've actually completed thus far, was Bandos. I already had the full War Priest set as well as the pet unlocked, so all I needed to acquire were the tradable drops. Overall, in terms of the amount of drops that I got and the 1200 kill count it took me to finish this, I got obscenely lucky. However, I did go really dry on the War Shield, and so ended up getting tons and tons of repeats of some of the more valuable drops, which of course, it's hard to complain about. Finally, the last interesting thing of note here is that Bandos dropped so many effigies I actually finished off one of my skill goals, which was 120 agility, while going for this title. As for the titles that I'm working on, there are currently 2. The first is one that I've relegated myself to working on passively, and that's the Liberation of Mazcap collection. I already had full Actos sets as well as the Yakamaru pet and Little Tussie since long before this update, so the only items I needed were the Mazcap Ability Codex drop as well as the Beastmaster pet. The Codex is quite common, and so that only took a few raids, however I'm still waiting on the Beastmaster pet. I'm now past 300 BMKC, which means my pet drop rate is down to 1 in 50, which is pretty common, and I've decided I'll just get the pet naturally while doing loot runs. So onto the real meat of what I'm working on right now, I decided to undertake what is arguably the longest and most difficult of the titles, and the only one currently still unclaimed, which is the traditional Barrows fight. My starting KC from both doing the 100 for final boss title as well as collecting things like the tier 70 defender components was 219, and I started taking progress photos at every 500 KC. This first screenshot is from exactly 500 kill count, so only about 300 of that is actually logged in the collection, but at this point I already feel like I'm making some pretty substantial progress. I've received at least 1 copy of about half of the items from all of the conventional brothers, with only 4 repeats. However, I've yet to see a Linza item, which although the drop rates weren't revealed yet at this point, we knew were considerably rarer than the other brothers. Another 500 runs later, and the collection is really starting to look fleshed out. I've completed Akrasay, Guthan, Torag, and Varax sets, and I'm only missing 1 item from Darok's set and from Arim's set, and though at this point I'm starting to get a lot more repeats. Although it's not shown in this screenshot, I did also receive my first piece of Linza equipment shortly before taking the 1000 kill count progress update, and that was Linza's hammer. By 1500 KC I'm down to only 4 items left to complete the collection. I've gotten 2 new Linza pieces in those last 500 runs, so I'm down to only 2 remaining to complete her set, as well as Kirill's body and Darok's Great Axe, which itself is becoming a bit of a meme because I'm up to 6 full sets of Darok's armor without ever seeing one of the weapons. Finally, at 1,652 Barrows runs, I finally get a Darok's Great Axe and finish off all of the conventional Barrows Brothers items. A few days prior to this, they released the Barrows drop rates, and so we knew that Linza's items were on a separate independent roll that didn't require you to kill the other brothers, and so I made the decision to stop doing full complete Barrows runs and only do Linza runs. Unfortunately, only killing Linza doesn't actually contribute to your Barrow's KC, and so I'm stuck at 1600, but I'm still keeping track of how many runs I'm doing by my usage of replenishment potions. Doing Linza only runs turns out to be pretty mind-numbingly boring, but it is about twice as fast as a conventional Barrows run, and so I stick with it, and it takes about 700 KC from my first drop. The bad news is that my worst nightmare has come true, and it's my first repeat Linza item, a second hammer. Needless to say, this is pretty demotivating, especially after such a long dry streak, but I keep up with it and I do another 700 KC up to the point where I'm recording this video. I still haven't seen another Linza item in this time, and so my progress as of the making of this video is still requiring those 2 Linza pieces the same as last screenshot. At the risk of repeating myself, this is getting pretty demotivating at this point, as with overall roughly about 1500 Linza KC since I stopped doing full Barrows runs, I should have expected about 3 items rather than just the one, which was a repeat. Although about half as long as a conventional Barrows run, Linza only runs still take about 2 to 3 minutes, and so doing this much KC does take a huge amount of time. At this point I know of 2 other players who have 37 out of 38 and only need 1 additional Linza piece to finish off the title, as well as 1 player who has the same as me, 36, and only needs 2 items. Coupling the rarity of the Linza pieces with the probability that you're going to get a repeat, I think it's still pretty much anybody's game as to which of us finishes this title first, and although I don't expect it's going to be me, I am trying to grind this out as quickly as possible because, although it's always probably going to be the rarest title in-game just due to the ridiculous rarity of these items, it would be nice to be one of the first few people. To close out this first video in the series, here are all of the available Boss Drop Collection titles, and here are the ones that I've completed thus far. It doesn't seem like much yet, but once that Barrows title is finished, the juggernaut of the list will be finished, and I should be able to rack through a few of the easier ones more quickly. Unrelated to any of the boss collections, this channel hit 10,000 subscribers last week, and I just wanted to personally thank all of you guys who enjoy these videos, because personally, I get a ton of fulfillment from doing this. It's an honor just to be a part of this RuneScape community, whether that's as an entertainer with the videos or as a teacher when it comes to guides and things like that. I know the content output from this channel has been pretty pathetic recently, but I just wanted to say that I'm not done making videos, and although they've been infrequent, I'm trying to get back up on that, and as things from my divorce and stuff are resolving IRL, I will be able to devote more time back into making these videos. Progress videos like this do require quite a bit less work, and so should give me the ability to make a new video every week regardless of whether I have a huge amount of time to devote to something like a guide, though that doesn't necessarily mean I won't be making guides. In fact, the next weekend I hope to devote a little bit of time to making a guide for Shattered Worlds, both for farming anima in general and pushing to high worlds. With that said, I would also like to do something to celebrate getting 10,000 subscribers, so if you have some idea of something you'd like to see me do to celebrate that, drop it in the comments section below. I had some ideas like doing maybe a 24-hour live stream or another Q&A video, but I figured I would just let you guys decide, just upvote whatever comment you think best reflects what you want to see. As always, big thanks to you guys for being supportive and sticking with me through all of the real-life turmoil that's been going on, as well as to my Patreon supporters who are always a massive help, but especially recently where I'm transitioning back toward living on a single income. Money's been pretty tight and the donations make a world of difference, so thank you guys all so much. I could honestly make this video 70 hours long and never truly convey to you guys how much I appreciate what you do for this channel, so thank you all. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.